Back tonight on Wyoming SportsLine, I'm Jerrad Anderson. Our pleasure to go to the phone and welcome our guest tonight, Jon Schade. Jon is a former Wyoming radio guy. He spent some time in Sweetwater County, was the voice of the Lyman Eagles at one point, and Jon has since moved on to Indiana, where he's living a very exciting life, doing very exciting things, and one of those was a trip to all 30 Major League Baseball ballparks, and he did it in 30 days. And he took almost 30 dates with him every single night at the ballpark. Jon, how are you tonight?
Good, Jerrad. How are you? Great to talk with you again. And before we get into it real quick, I just wanted to say I'm proud of you as a big league sportscaster making it up to Seattle, and I was very much envious. So nice work.
Easy with that big league stuff. I appreciate it, but just very fortunate to work for Town Square Media and that the Wyoming Cowboys had such a great season. Jon, 30 with 30, what was the inspiration to go on this trip? I'm sure a lot of baseball fans out there would love to take a baseball trip, but what made you just pull the trigger and say, I'm going to all 30 ballparks?
You know, Jerrad, I had, funny enough, I first thought of the idea probably back in 2010, and when I was back and living in Wyoming, and I had a Friday night in Green River and just relaxing after work, and he said, you know what, I love baseball, and just for kicks, I think I was watching an ESPN game at the time. I said, just for kicks, let's see if I can actually come up with a schedule that works. I never finished that one, but early 2013, a lot of stuff was going on in my life, and I was just trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? Well, the long and the short of it is I just had this feeling in the back of my head, and just, you know what, you should try and plan this. So while I was working for the radio station out here, I planned it and moved on from radio, and then I had a whole bunch of free time, so I said, well, I guess now is the time.
So now that you've seen all 30, what was your favorite ballpark, or at least your top few favorite parks?
Well, you know, people always ask me that question. The first thing off the bat is I grew up in Chicago, so I always knew Wrigley Field, and that was my home park. So, but without a doubt, to me, Fenway. If anybody's been to Fenway, it's an extremely, comparatively to the other ballparks, is an extremely small ballpark. It's very intimate. The fans are hilarious. They're great. They're from Boston, so they got attitude. PNC Park in Pittsburgh, just beautiful. I think for the full picturesque, PNC was probably best.
How about least favorite ballpark? Which one of our MLB parks needs an upgrade the most?
The one that needs the most is actually one of the newest ballparks. If anybody's been down to Miami, that ballpark is atrocious. It's awful. It's indoors to begin with. I mean, they've got the retractable roof, but the night I went, we were expecting rain, so the roof was on. So it felt like when the ball hit the crack of the bat, it felt like you were listening to an echo chamber. You were standing in a warehouse playing baseball. The food was okay, but the stadium looked like a spaceship on the outside. And there wasn't, everybody looks for personality in the ballpark. And I think that's why Fenway's great and Wrigley and other ballparks. But Miami needs some work.
Again, we're talking with our friend Jon Schade tonight. Jon from 30 with 30. He went on a great Major League Baseball trip to all 30 ballparks. Jon, most important question, who had the best food?
Well, best food, I will tell you, after about day 9, I got tired of hot dogs. So I had to branch out a little bit. Seattle, has got fantastic food because they've got a variety of different restaurants in the ballpark. There's a little bagel shop, I think, the left field corner, just outside of the ballpark, on the property. That was fantastic. So Seattle was great. I will tell you the best food I ever had was probably New York Mets Citi Field. Best pastrami sandwich I've ever had. They cooked it right off the roaster, and it was the best. I think it was the best $12.95 I ever spent on the trip. So Seattle, Citi Field was really good. And surprisingly, the ballpark at Arlington, they've got a lot of state fair type foods, like giant corn dogs and everything. So that was another really good one.
Jon, where can we find more info from your trip? And I know you got a whole lot of photos online too.
I did a blog. I think it's 30with30.blogspot.com, but probably the most enjoyable aspect for somebody who's looking for more information and everything, pictures, videos, everything, log on to Facebook. It's really simple. Just go 30 with 30, search 30 with 30, and it'll give you all sorts of photos and videos. And, I tried to take photos everywhere I went, so probably took 4,000 photos overall, and that's the easiest place that'll give you a good idea for anybody who wants to know more.
Yeah, there are some fantastic photos on there. Jon, final question for you. Baseball season right around the corner. Opening day is just over a week. You're a Cubs fan. Cubs making a lot of moves this year. Is this the year for the Cubs? And if not, who's your favorite in Major League Baseball?
Oh, well, Jerrad, I would answer this as a true Cubs fan. Of course it's the year. I was really surprised real quick. I was pleased to see they got Jon Lester, and I know there's been a lot of buzz about Chris Bryant, and rightfully so. I don't know if it's the year this year. I think we could be in contention for a wild card spot or even the division because, quite frankly, I don't think the Central Division is particularly strong this year. And if I had to go with a favorite for the World Series, I'm going to throw out a ridiculous one right here, and I think that let's say San Diego.
Whoa, okay.
Padres. There's my wild favorite. The next one that comes into mind, I think, just because of the talent level that's available to them, would be, I think, Boston.
All right. Yeah. If you get the Padres correct, you will be the only guy that predicted them at the beginning of the season. I think San Diego's much improved. They've got a great pitching staff, but
yeah.
I don't know, World Series. That is pretty bold, but we'll come back to you and see how that works out in October.
All right, deal. If I get that right, I'm going to retire and then just move back to Wyoming and find a cabin because that will have been my life accomplishment predicting that correctly.
Exactly. You could go lay a futures bet down in Vegas right now, and if the Padres win the World Series, you'll have enough to retire. All right, Jon, with that, we're going to let you go because I know you're busy, but appreciate you taking some time, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you again here during baseball season at some point.
All right, sounds good. Always a pleasure to talk with you, Jerrad.
He is our good friend Jon Schade from 30 with 30. Give him a like on Facebook if you can. Check out some of his amazing photos. What a great trip that is. Not only ballpark photos, but travel photos from America's great cities at facebook.com/30 with 30. Wyoming SportsLine continues in just a couple of moments with a check at some regional and national headlines.